But yeah, I do want to check out this Pokemon thing though, because apparently I was misinterpreting the trailer that was put out yesterday, and apparently they are just putting it up as a digital release. They're not even putting it on the Switch Online service. They're not doing any physical. Got to get a Switch 2 eventually, but I can wait. Well, yeah, I understand that. Do I talk about anything other than Corey? Yeah, I talk about a lot of people. Oh, the animation thing, it's just too I have a program called VitoTube, VitoTube Mini, where I just have two images, one with like my mouth open like I'm talking and one with my mouth closed and like a blinking animation, and the program puts all four of those images together as a moving to make it appear like it's doing all that. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on, Jermaine. What do you mean giving obsession? I made yesterday was my very first video I ever talked about Corey Holcomb on. So what does it mean obsession? Like my stream last night was the very first time I ever spoke on Corey Holcomb. So why all of a sudden is it an obsession now? I gotta hear this. I want to know exactly what the hell you're talking about because it makes no sense to me. Well, no, I covered him last night as well because I talked about him and Joe Budden beefing. But that last night was the first time I ever spoke on him. I mean, telling me that I'm obsessed is crazy. Like what the hell you think I am? What do you think this is, Mariah Carey? Why are you saying I'm obsessed? But anyways. No, I don't have any prior videos on him, no. Because it wasn't really my thing. Like, when I saw that Random was making the videos on Corey, I didn't want to overstep bounds because he was making very good videos on the whole topic, and I didn't want to step on his toes, so I left it alone. But when I was in his live stream and I saw all those other clips about, like, the children's stuff, it kind of turned my ear up to, like, okay, well, now I need to pay more attention to this. And then, what? Well, no, because I don't, when it comes to certain things that I'm not well equipped for, I just don't want to make a video and just talk. Oh, no, I get that. But it was the thing is, like, when Random started initially speaking on it, I didn't have the knowledge to speak on anything like that. Like, I knew a little bit about Corey, but I didn't know much. So I just didn't want to just say things that were just airballs. So I just, in my opinion, I just left it to you guys because y'all knew what was going on more than I did, so I left it alone. But then when I was in Random stream and Random showed all those videos, then it turned me on to the point where it was like, okay, well, now I've got to pay more attention. And then when I saw about the Joe Budden thing, that was when I finally decided, yeah, I got to start watching this stuff. Because there's something really going on, and I have to pay attention. So, I don't know. It just feels weird that, because I know that you guys all post like the same type of stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm overstepping boundaries by doing stuff like that. So it's just not in my nature to sit there and just try and take when you know somebody else is already doing it. That's just how I feel about it. But I mean, like, you know, Random can talk about Power Rangers and I wouldn't give a shit. I mean, damn. I mean, me and him are about to talk about Power Rangers for probably an hour or two. So it don't matter to me. I just didn't feel right making any videos on it. But let's talk about this Pokemon thing.
They were going to wait until next Friday to make this announcement. But late last night, I mean late, this is 1 or 2 a.m. Eastern, all of a sudden, Pokemon games started to appear on the Nintendo Switch eShop in the coming soon section. And it was very random to where people were looking at it going, I guess somebody accidentally pressed go live on these listings before the announcement was ready to be made, because then just
Well, I don't think it's that. I think that people already figured it out and it got leaked. So I think that they were trying to get ahead. Because if they waited till Pokemon Day and to show that stuff when it's already been spoken about so many times, it wouldn't have drawn that much excitement. So they didn't want to do it.
like a couple hours later, it was official. Pokemon, some of the classic ones, will be coming to the Switch, and not necessarily in a way that I think people were hoping. although some seem kind of happy with it. It's definitely a mixed bag, but it's Pokemon. So go figure, but we'll go over exactly what's happening here today. So if you guys enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. So this is over
Yeah.
on Nintendo's site, the news section, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, both of which will be coming to Nintendo Switch and then backwards compatible
Is that
on
good,
the
Bean?
Switch too. On the 27th, Pokemon Day, they decided to make this announcement a week in advance. And you might be wondering why exactly that is.
Is he any louder? Okay, good.
Well, if I had to take a guess, it's because next week on the 27th, they will be announcing Pokemon Gen 10. And so there's going to be a lot happening right at that time. Of course, the 30th anniversary. So you'll have all kinds of merchandise also being announced. Probably some.
I was really hoping for an anniversary collection. Like, I get why they're doing the Fire Red Leaf Green thing because it's one of the more popular remakes, but I really wish that they would have just made an anniversary collection where all of the past handhelds that don't have any support, all those games just get lumped into one thing that you can play on one console. I wish they would have done that. That would have been Game Freak's best decision since Platinum.
Other like offshoot games, collaborations, a lot of stuff's going to be happening. But this one in particular, I think will generate a lot of hype. It already kind of has a lot of discussion, certainly. But also there's gonna be a lot of questions around these because these are there's some things to this that I looked at and said, oh, that's weird with how they're approaching it. But first off, Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, multiple languages here. And if you look on the eShop now, there are multiple listings for English, French, and Spanish. And if you go through, you'll see them pop up separately, and you just have to pick, which one you need for your language. So it's not, unfortunately, all one game. And you just scroll through the text and pick whichever language you want. So make sure you buy the right one. All right.
Yeah, because the one thing I did see when I looked at that trailer is that in the fine print that if you get the wrong translation, they don't have a policy to swap you out for the correct one. So, you spend $20 and you accidentally buy the French version of this, you're stuck with it. You can't exchange it for the English copy and all that stuff, which I thought was really stupid.
Say, capture wild Pokemon and recapture the nostalgic feel of the Game Boy Advance system when the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green games return for the first time in over 20 years on the Switch, just in time for Pokemon Day on February 27th. Now, immediately people are thinking, oh, this is going into NSO. Not the case. And in fact, if you look on the store, it's $20 for each version. So $40 if you want both Fire Red and Leaf Green.
And this is the thing too, is that like Watts was bringing up that this was going to be physical, but everything that I've been reading on this, it's only digital. Which is frustrating because $20 for a digital copy of a game that's 20 years old is stupid. $20 for a physical copy of a game that's 20 years old, I understand. Because they got to make their money somewhere when you're talking about the actual everything that comes with it. But like a digital copy of a game that has already been made that they didn't even improve on. I think I don't even know if they added the compatibility for you to be able to do any online battles or link battles in this game. I don't know. But for it only being a digital copy, like $20 is ridiculous. They could have done $10 for this, and they could have done $20 for the physical if they made a physical.
Immediately set off a wave of backlash to support. It's just, again, it's back and forth right now because on one hand, there is a subscription service. This would be Game Boy Advance, so it would be in the $50 tier per year. But there is a subscription service that people out there already pay for that this would have made an awesome addition to. I mean, if you start that app up on Pokemon Day, both of these versions go in. There will still be some frustration, which I'll get to here in a second as to why. But I think most people would go, oh, that's cool. That's a fun addition. I will check these games out again. But the other angle to this, there are people who just want to buy it. Like, there are some who are not thrilled with the idea of these games all being tied to a subscription, and they consistently ask about the virtual console coming back or having the option to buy these games separately. So clearly you meet in the middle by saying, oh, it's on NSO, but then you can also just go ahead and buy, like if this was $20, or you can just play it in your Game Boy Advance NSO app.
Well, no, because I think doing that in the Switch Online, it negates the purpose of the digital release, because I don't think that any game that's available on Switch Online is available to be purchased digitally in the eShop, because they're there to be able to make the Switch Online profitable. So I think that that's where this is messed up. I think they should have made a physical and a digital, or they should have just left this alone altogether and just put it on the Switch Online, because that would have made way more sense.
I don't think people would complain at all, because people who want to buy it for 20 would buy it for 20, and others who already have the service or like, okay, now I'll get the service because of this, would have gone that route. But no, they've decided to go with the separate a la carte purchases, $20 each. And the reason I think is,
and that's crazy too, is that each version is $20. Like $20 would have made sense for you to get both Fire Red and Leaf Green. But $20 each is ridiculous.
pretty clear, although there's some other things that are being pointed out. It's money, like obviously. The Pokemon Company is not Nintendo, and I think that's important for people to realize. They're going to make their decisions independent of what's necessarily best for Nintendo. Nintendo would probably love to be able to just drop these in NSO and immediately spike subscriptions. But that's not necessarily what the Pokemon Company wants to do, which Nintendo is 1/3 of the Pokemon Company. I'm sure the Pokemon Company is thinking, we're going to sell millions and millions of these digitally. We're going to flip a Switch, which these are 40 megabytes in size. So yeah, I mean, kind of like emulator ROM, that kind of thing, you know. So
wait, hold on.
It shows. Yeah, I mean,
Nintendo. Nope. Where I got
these are 40 megabytes.
Okay, software compatibility, play experience. Okay, Switch Lite. Additional accessories may be required. Supported languages. Yeah.
Bytes in size.
I don't.
So.
Oh yeah, they fleece them all the time. But I do. The one thing I really hope that see on this, where it says meet up and play together on multiple consoles, I really hope that this is the truth. Because if you can do link battles and you can do stuff like that and link trades with people, that would justify the $20 price point. Because the ability to be able to play with other people online in that game, it would make it worth it to me.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like emulator ROM, that kind of thing, you know. So it's not exactly a massive production where they've remade or recreated or done anything too crazy here.
I wish they would have, though.
With that in mind, the Pokemon Company knows they're going to flip a Switch and sell millions and millions of copies, not only with the nostalgia of Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I will say are like top tier Pokemon games. Back in the day, I got Fire Red when it came out on the Game Boy Advance, and
Wait, what do you mean top tier? These are widely considered by the vast majority of Pokemon fans that in terms of remakes, this is the pinnacle of what a Pokemon remake should be. Like they took what Pokemon Red was and they completely enhanced it, but didn't ruin the game. And that's kind of where Heart Gold and Soul Silver come into play as well, because they did a good job with that as well. But people still consider Fire Red and Leaf Green to be the superior remakes. But then you look at Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they screwed that up big time.
Incredible. It's still good to play now, whether like I have the cartridges for them. You go that route, or yes, you emulate them. Look, the Pokemon
What do you mean get the cartridges for them? Do you not understand that a loose cartridge of Fire Red and Leaf Green are like $300? Not even sealed in the box, not even complete in box, just a loose cartridge is hundreds of dollars. Like, ain't no way. Or you can spend $20 and get it digitally on your Switch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people would rather spend $20.
Have gotten out of control in terms of pricing on places like eBay, the secondhand market. I think
It's not the secondhand market. It's the actual market. Let's see. Pokemon Fire Red Loose Cart price charting. Okay, loose price is $140. Complete in box is $400. Sealed is $1,000. So, yeah. The market is not out of control. This is the standard market, especially when you're talking about Pokemon games. This is what it is.
Fire Red is like 120. It's more than 100. Leaf Green's a little more expensive. I'm trying to remember exactly why. I think there's Pokemon Selection or something, between
Yeah, it's the exclusives between the games.
the two, and Leaf Green, I guess, comes out on the stronger side of that. But the point here is that the cartridges are expensive. Emulation, of course, is not, but I've said this a million times, and I can honestly understand. Some people just don't want to emulate stuff. They go, oh, that's convenient. Guess what one of the biggest selling points of the Switch is convenience. It's 20 bucks. Yeah, I'll go ahead and buy it. I really want to play back through Pokemon. Nintendo did put out an entire Q&A, though, or FAQ, frequently asked questions, with this game, because there are still some oddities here, and there is, for me, something that's pretty disappointing actually here, which would have been really cool to see them include. But let's go over some of this here. Are these the original versions of the games? Have they been enhanced or modified in any way? Some specifications may differ, but broadly speaking, the contents of these games are the same as in the game's original release.
That's
and they
crazy.
mentioned, due to differences in hardware, the following features operate differently.
The game's connectivity features require the Game Boy Advance Game Link cable or Game Boy Advance wireless adapter on the Game Boy Advance system. Those features can now be enjoyed on Switch 2 via built-in local wire. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, that makes the $20 price point completely worth it for me. Right then and there. The fact that you can play online locally with people makes it worth it to me. It would have been better if they would have been able to find a way to be able to program in being able to do like battles with people on a specific server to where you don't have to, it doesn't have to be local play. That would have been great. But I don't think that the Pokemon Company actually cares about the fans enough to do shit like that anyways.
Game's connectivity features require Game Boy Advance link cable or the wireless adapter back then. However, with the Switch 2 and the Switch 1, those work through the built-in local wireless connection. As in, there's no online function here, which is incredibly unfortunate. At the very least, I think online battles would have been awesome. The trading, I think it'd be great to have trading, obviously, because it's easier to now more than ever connect with people through the internet versus, hey, we'll meet up and plug our Game Boys in and trade back and forth that way. I mean, that's all we had back then. But now things are much different. And it's just strange they didn't think, oh, maybe people would like to be able to get their Gengar without having to meet up. Like, they could just trade them back and forth. So
yeah, but like it said, they're the same as the game's original release. You're talking about them doing a whole nother level of things that they're not prepared for.
I think the aspect to this is that they are definitely afraid of people exploiting these Pokemon games that I think they want to bring into the fold for some of the current ones with Pokemon Home Support, which was on the listing, by the way, for the eShop. I saw it myself. It was there. And then they took that down. So I'm thinking they might mention it during Pokemon Day that it's coming later, which of course would let you just be able to transfer Pokemon back and forth and do all kinds of things to where it can become more current with this game that's, again, more than 20 years old. But they are very concerned around exploiting, and that would also go into NSO, which has rewind and save states. They don't even support cloud backup with these Pokemon games. And it's just their concern that they could exploit and break, I don't know, I guess the genuine nature of these games. Certainly the competitive scene, along with shiny hunting and all the other stuff that I'm not as familiar with, but I do understand that there is value, and it's very clear when you look at the Pokemon community and how they treat a lot of this stuff. Why are you handling these classic games differently? Celebration of 30 years of Pokemon, we thought it'd be fun to return to the ultimate versions of the original Pokemon adventures in the Kanto region with these special releases. They did not.
But they're not special releases, they're the exact same releases. Like, a special release would have been if they completely remade Fire Red and Leaf Green. But, I mean, judging by how well Pokemon Legends ZA turned out, I highly doubt that they would have made it look any better than that. And that would have pissed me off if they did that for Red and Green.
Answer that at all. The real answer here is we like money. As that they could just put that there, and I'd say, you know what? They're being honest. Hey, what are you going to do? I do think if most people were in charge at the Pokemon company and looked at this and bonuses or what have you were tied into any of the sales performances, I think most people watching this would go, yeah, of course I'd sell them for $20 each. What are we talking about here? And then ask if you'll add the original red version, blue version, or other Pokemon games to Nintendo Classics collection. And then they just go ahead and do a little advertisement of all the games that are available on there now, which are none of the games that were.
But okay, here's the one, this is the one big up I will give to Nintendo. When they're talking about Pokemon and the Switch Online service, this is where I think Nintendo did what I think a lot of people were going to miss and were not expecting, was the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy and for the Game Boy Color, I believe. But this game, a lot of people love this game. I do. So, them putting it in there is them, like, for once in a blue moon, Pokemon is actually hearing the fans for once and is doing something right for the fans. It's the same thing with Pokemon Puzzle League and Pokemon Snap, the original Pokemon Snap. And Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. They didn't have to put those in on the N64 in the N64 Switch Online place either. But they did. And that's because I honestly think that when it comes to stuff like this, they actually listen. But they want to profit off of their listening way too much, to the point where they sometimes take advantage of Pokemon fans, because Pokemon fans wait so long for a game to come out that a lot of fans will just put up with anything as long as it gets released. Even if it's dog shit. Like, I like Scarlet and Violet just fine, but that game was absolute doo-doo when it came out. They had to patch the hell out of that game to fix a lot of bugs that was happening in that game. And they had way more than a year to work on Scarlet and Violet. So, like, Pokemon fans are willing to put up with anything for a mediocre performing release. And that's where I think it's kind of egregious how the Pokemon company just takes advantage.
Asked about here. Red version and blue version, the originals, I think that would be kind of cool to go into the original Game Boy collection, but that's the 20.
Yeah, the red and blue on Game Boy would be perfect. That would have been the perfect way to do this. You sell Fire Red and Leaf Green, okay? But then you also put red and blue, but on the Switch Online service. That would have made this perfect. Would have been chef's kiss, because then you would have gotten both versions of the game. The original and the remake. Because regardless of it being a remake or not, those two games are nowhere near the same. The game mechanics, everything about it is different. It's not the same. That would have been perfect. I would have loved that. And I promise you, if Pokemon Day comes and those guys do that, I'm going to be happy.
$20 per year tier, okay? That's not enough money. So, still, I think it'd be kind of fun if they did that. And I don't know if they actually will at this point. You know what the real travesty is? Pokemon Pinball. Where is it? But that's the one that's great, fun game by the way. That's the one they got to get on there, okay?
If he's talking about Pokemon Pinball, I think for Game Boy, then yeah, I understand that as well. Pokemon Pinball is really fun.
At the very least, I think for Pokemon Day, you'll see XD or Coliseum get dropped into the GameCube.
Oh, they
collection.
better.
Will
They
the game
better.
receives any enhancements when playing on Switch 2. No major differences in how the games perform on Switch 2. And Switch, I do. They mentioned the game chat feature, which is fine.
Wait, as with games on Nintendo Switch 2 in general, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green can be enjoyable using the game chat. Okay. Well, that's not a bad addition to where you can be in a voice chat with somebody on your Switch while playing a game together. Like that's a cool thing to do though.
I do think it would be nice if they. I mean, it's like kind of the pixel art stuff, so I guess when they stretch it to fit the Switch 2 screen, it won't affect it too much. I'll have to see.
But it's not going to stretch
this one for how that
It's going to be 4x3. It's not going to be stretched.
Looks on the screen, but I would like to think that they understand, okay, the Switch 2 can support just a cleaner looking visuals, and there's only so much you can do with older Game Boy Advance style games. But still would be nice if they realize, oh, this is going to be played on a big 4K display or on a 1080 display for the Switch 2.
What's going to be crazy is if now they've set the precedent for Fire Red and Leaf Green to show that they're willing to release remakes, they better do this shit with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Because if they don't, I'm going to lose my damn mind.
In handheld mode, let's make sure it looks pretty good. Now, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of back and forth online over this, and it's been somewhat funny to watch the nerd on nerd violence on social media. But to be honest, looking at it, it's $20, and I think you're gonna have many people online get to the 27th, look around, and go, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy Fire Red." Or like,
but this is the thing too. I mean, if you go into a Walmart, okay. People buy dog shit PS5 and Xbox Series X games that Walmart knocks down to $20. Okay? And those games are complete doo-doo trash. Doo-doo trash. Okay? At least you know for a fact that when you spend $20 on this game is going to be worth it. Because people already know the game is good. And the best part about this is that streaming this game or recording this game is going to be so much easier because the picture clarity is going to be better than what you would get through an emulator anyways. Like right here, with as big as my screen is, this does not look muddy to me at all. This looks incredible. For as big as my screen is, this shouldn't look this good. Like, I've got GBA emulators that can't perform like this. That don't give me nowhere near the picture quality that this is giving. So that makes a big difference.
There's a lot of discourse currently. The game's not out yet, but let's face it. I think most of us know when it does release, it'll immediately become number one, both of them, Leaf Green or Fire Red, number one on the eShop sales
100%.
charts. It'll be like that scene out of The Simpsons where Homer's trying to tell Moe he lost a customer, but everyone is so loud around him trying to give Moe money at the bar that he can't hear him. That's how it's going to be. So I think there are more people than not, even though it looks differently on social media, that are probably just going to buy one or the other, maybe both. You know what I'm really curious about is which one sells better, Fire Red or Leaf Green. I'm
Fire Red's going to sell better. There's going to be a very small niche of people that will buy Leaf Green. But, I mean, it's got Charizard on the damn cover art. A lot of people are going to just buy Fire Red just for that.
I'm inclined to say Fire Red, but it seems like Leaf Green is the popular one with Pokemon fans. So again, let me know what the deal is there. I've only ever really played Fire Red like that. I have Leaf Green, but I've only really ever gotten into Fire Red, and a lot of that's because, yes, nostalgia, when I played it back in the day. But that's probably the one I would go with here. So stop me if I'm making a mistake, because I know they're basically the same game for the most part. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below in the comments. Is $20 too much? Are you passing on it? Are you picking it up? And if so, which one are you going with? Thanks, guys.
And you know, the other thing too is that this game coming out is what kind of pushed me into finally deciding to just get a Switch 2. Like this is what broke me. Like between Watts being in my ear and telling me that it's a nice system, it's a nice this, it's a nice that, and then seeing this completely convinced me to get one. I really hope that system doesn't let me down though. It's gonna irritate the hell out of me if it lets me down. So I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, I don't really have anything right now. Damn. But it is what it is. I've got to get ready for my video with Random University, so I do need to get off here and start prepping my videos and getting my setup ready. So I do appreciate all you guys showing up. I really do appreciate Illogix being here and being it really. I mean, I appreciate you guys being here, you know. And I mean, at one point we were at 12 people in the chat and watching stream. And I mean, in all reality, that's pretty much the most I've ever gotten, especially on YouTube. YouTube, I really don't ever get any live viewers, but now it's pretty cool to see the amount of people show up. So I do appreciate you guys. But yeah, my Pearl video just dropped this morning. I have a Pokemon video getting dropped tomorrow morning, and then my video of Random University will be up on Monday, hopefully. I'm aiming for my video with Random to be edited and cut and ready by Monday. So cross my fingers, because I'm literally trying to just stay as consistent as possible. Like, I've just been watching Logic streams and Random streams and Watts' streams while I'm sitting on my other screen editing the hell out of as many videos as I can edit, so that way I just have backup videos and then just throw them out and then just schedule them for the next day at the same time, every day, same time, upload. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm going to get this video done with Random, and then I have another video I've got to record after I get off of Random. So that way I have videos for Monday and Tuesday that I don't have to worry about. So then it gives me another 2 days to stack up more videos. So I'm trying to get myself enough of a gap ahead to where I don't have to stress about getting a video recorded and immediately uploaded like I was doing at the beginning. So at least I can just stay on top of what I'm releasing. But yeah, man, if you guys enjoyed the stream, it would mean a lot, you know, if you guys like the stream. And if you guys haven't been here before and you are just now coming across me and you like the content, then subscribe. I mean, I still got, at least now, considering from last night, I am halfway to my goal of having 100 subs by April. So I am happy with that. And I do appreciate all you guys for joining me on this journey. It does mean a lot, man. It really does.